In 1969, humanity did the impossible. We walked on the moon. That single moment defined an era, symbolizing not just technological triumph, but human courage. For decades, we've looked up at that silver world, promising we'd return not just to visit, but to stay. NASA's Artemis program was meant to be the beginning of that new chapter, a promise to send astronauts back to the lunar surface, the first woman, the first person of color to build a base, to prepare for Mars, to make the moon our second home. But now, that promise is in danger. Deadlines are slipping, rockets are grounded, and budgets are bursting. NASA has just admitted Artemis is delayed. Again, so what went wrong? Why is humanity's long-awaited return to the moon falling apart? And could someone else, maybe China, or even a private company, beat NASA there first? Artemis wasn't just another space mission. It was the dawn of a new space age, a mission designed to prove that the moon wasn't a finish line, but a launching point. The plan was bold, ambitious, and inspiring. Artemis I, an uncrewed test flight of NASA's massive space launch system, the most powerful rocket since Saturn V. Artemis II, the first crewed mission to fly around the moon in over 50 years. Artemis III, the moment humanity would walk on the lunar surface again. And beyond that, NASA dreamed of Artemis Base Camp, a permanent outpost near the lunar South Pole, where astronauts could mine water ice for drinking, for oxygen, and even for rocket fuel. It was a vision of permanence, not a flag and footprints mission like Apollo, but a foundation for generations. But as history has shown, even the greatest dreams can buckle under the weight of reality. The first cracks appeared early. NASA's SLS rocket, built with old Space Shuttle-era technology, was years behind schedule before it even left the ground. Every test seemed to find new problems: fuel leaks, faulty sensors, endless redesigns. The rocket finally launched Artemis I in 2022, 3 years later, billions over budget. Still, it was a success. NASA proved the hardware could fly, and the Orion spacecraft made a flawless journey around the moon. But that was supposed to be the easy part. Now, Artemis II, the first crewed mission, has slipped from 2024 to at least 2026. And Artemis III, the mission that was meant to return humans to the lunar surface, it's been pushed even further, possibly to 2028, maybe later. So what's causing the delays? A perfect storm of technical and financial obstacles. The SLS rocket is incredibly expensive and hard to maintain. The new lunar spacesuits are still incomplete and behind schedule. The lander is a modified version of SpaceX's Starship, not yet flight-proven. And the cost is staggering. By the time astronauts set foot on the moon again, Artemis will have consumed over $90 billion. That's more than the entire Apollo program, adjusted for inflation. The result? The 2020s moon landing we were promised now looks like it might not happen until the 2030s. But why does this matter? Why should anyone care if Artemis takes longer than expected? Because the moon isn't just a symbol. It's the gateway to everything beyond. At the lunar South Pole lies one of the most valuable resources in the solar system: water ice. It can be turned into air, into drinking water, into hydrogen fuel. Whoever controls that resource could control the future of space exploration. It's not just science, it's a strategy. In the 1960s, the moon race was about Cold War prestige, who could prove their dominance in space. Today, it's about something much bigger. Who will own the infrastructure of the next century? The United States wants to lead that future, but NASA's delays are opening the door for others to step through first. And here's where the crisis deepens. Because NASA might not be the first to return to the moon. China has already announced its own crewed landing, planned before the end of this decade. Their space program has been moving fast, methodically, quietly, and effectively. They've built their own space station, landed rovers on the moon and Mars, and are developing heavy-lift rockets to match SLS. They're even planning a joint lunar base with Russia. At the same time, India stunned the world with Chandrayaan-3, landing near the lunar South Pole in 2023. That mission made India the first country to achieve such a feat, something NASA still hasn't done. And then there's SpaceX, NASA's partner, and possibly its biggest rival. Their Starship rocket, if successful, could launch more payload to the moon for a fraction of the cost of SLS. In fact, NASA's own lunar lander is Starship, a private rocket owned by Elon Musk's company. It's a strange reality. NASA's future on the moon depends on a private company's success. If Starship fails, Artemis stalls. If Starship succeeds, NASA's own rocket might become obsolete. Either way, the fate of Artemis and perhaps NASA's credibility is no longer entirely in NASA's hands. But here's the heart of the crisis. Artemis was supposed to unite us, to inspire a new generation the way Apollo did. Instead, it's become a symbol of bureaucracy, politics, and red tape. The same agency that once landed men on the moon with slide rules and blackboards now struggles with committee meetings, contracts, and cost overruns. And yet, despite the chaos, hope remains. If Artemis II launches safely with crew aboard, confidence will surge. If SpaceX's Starship proves it can land on the moon, Artemis III could still happen within this decade. And if Artemis Base Camp becomes reality, even a small one, humanity could finally take that next step toward Mars. But the danger is clear. Too many delays, too many overruns, and public interest could fade. The program could collapse into history as another dream deferred, another what could have been. Just like Apollo after Mission 17. Still, even in crisis, Artemis represents something bigger than its setbacks. It's a reminder that exploration is hard and that the frontier always pushes back. NASA isn't just fighting technical problems. It's fighting time, politics, and the limits of public patience. And those battles are often harder than escaping Earth's gravity. But if there's one thing NASA's history teaches us, it's that failure isn't final. Every disaster, Apollo 1, Challenger, Columbia, led to change, growth, and return. The same could happen here. Artemis could yet rise from its delays stronger than ever. If NASA learns to adapt, to collaborate, and to let innovation lead, the next flag on the moon could still bear the American logo. But this time, it won't be alone. China will be there. Private companies will be there. And the race won't be about who gets there first, but who stays there longest. So will we ever walk on the moon again? Yes, but not without struggle. The next footprints on the lunar surface may be American, or Chinese, or carried there by a commercial rocket instead of a government one. But they will happen, because humanity has never been good at giving up the stars. For all its flaws, for all its bureaucracy, Artemis still matters. It's the bridge between what we once achieved and what we still dream of doing. The moon is waiting. Its ice, its resources, its history, all just 384,000 kilometers away. The question is no longer if we'll go back. Who will get there first, NASA, China, or SpaceX? And when the next human stands under that alien sky, looking back at our tiny blue world, it won't matter which flag they wear, because that moment will belong to all of us. Our return to the moon isn't just a mission. It's a test of vision, of perseverance, and of who we are as a species. Artemis may be in crisis, but the dream of walking on the moon again is still alive.